I wonder what the Pope is up to this holiday season. Yeah, that's not creepy at all, as the Pope is literally opening up 5 sacred spiritual portals, one of which that was never opened before, with the next one expected to be opened up tomorrow. The one after that, the last one, January 5th, which actually goes up against their tradition here, as there's a lot of important questions to what is really going on here, as the Pope has sure been pushing a lot of very woke, liberal, democratic policies that are finally being put in check in our larger political cycle, as Germany looks to elect some right-wing political figures, as the political ideology of the Pope is getting questioned. Could that be one reason why he's opening up these larger portals? Well, we're going to get into that, as well as the larger lore and conspiracy surrounding this particular story that actually isn't as controversial as a lot of people think it is. But there are a lot of really crazy things happening to the Pope recently, as of course just 2 weeks ago we got this from the British broadcasting company that detailed how there was an assassination plot against the Pope. This according to the British intelligence that discovered a plot specifically during the Pope's visit to Iraq. There was a plan by 2 moderate rebels, as the U.S. Western mainstream media likes to call them, that were intercepted and taken out during the Pope's previous trip there, that literally were planning on blowing up the Pope. This from the latest information coming from a new book that's going to be released January 14th, as now we have this very crazy story from the New York Times that reads, Pope Francis to open up 5 sacred portals on Christmas Eve for a ritual that's never been done. This as the Pope and many other Vatican officials like to do a lot of very weird rituals, to say the least here, but this actually comes back from a Catholic tradition where the Pope does actually open up 5 holy doors in accordance with the Roman Catholic tradition known as the Jubilee. This actually does take place every 25 years. This is the 25th year that it happens, as of course one door is opened on December 24th. The next door is opened on December 26th. The next door is opened on December 29th. That was yesterday. And the next one's going to be January 1st, and January 5th will be the last day. As the New York Times is specifically referencing, as the New York Post is not wrong, as there's one new door that has never been opened before that will be opened for this particular 25th year anniversary Jubilee, as one of these holy doors is located within the Roman prison of Rababa. As according to the Roman Catholic Church, it will be the first time that in addition to the holy doors opened in the 4 Roman papal basilicas, there will be another one opened in a penal institution too. As during the last Jubilee 25 years ago, this actually didn't happen under Pope John Paul II, as now a lot of people are kind of questioning Pope Francis's kind of first-time historical addition to this holy ritual, as a lot of people are interpreting their own kind of religious and spiritual understandings of this, as this is going to be the first time the Pope has opened a holy door at a prison. As Pope Francis said, quote, I think of prisoners who have been deprived of their freedom daily feel the harshness of detention and its restriction, lack of affection, and in more than a few cases, lack of respect. In accordance to offer prisoners a concrete sign of closeness, I would myself like to open a holy door in a prison as a sign of inviting prisoners to look to the future with hope, with a renewal sense of confidence. This as this Pope has been a very woke, liberal, leftist Pope that has supported a lot of some of the most unpopular policy decisions from our politicians. As of course, this is the same Pope that has shown strong support for the Black Lives Matter movement, a movement that resulted in many parts of the United States literally having entire blocks burned down and over 36 people die from them. Not a very peaceful movement, not a very cohesive movement, not a very Catholic-like movement, I would say, as the BLM organization that orchestrated and organized all of this and funneled huge sums of money that just went missing, literally on their own website was proselytizing about how we need to destroy the family unit. And these were the ideas, principles, and organizations that the Pope previously supported, as a lot of people are trying to find the larger understanding of what's really going on here, as of course that's not the only unpopular policy decision of the Pope that of course has created controversy within the Catholic Church, as a lot of people are kind of documenting their own personal feelings about this and how there's a lot of kind of dark energy juju surrounding this and these latest kind of actions and behaviors that a lot of people have some questions about. Now, when it comes to showing care and compassion to some of the worst elements of our society, that is kind of a very Catholic thing to do. It is important not to give up on certain individuals and elements of our society and to, of course, just throw them away. They still are human beings and they are still worth redemption. And sadly, here domestically inside of the United States, our prison system is set up in a way where it's largely a higher institution of learning for criminals to become better criminals. And sadly, it doesn't rehabilitate anyone. It just makes people habitual criminals that are just better at being criminals. As to add more crazy lore to this specific story about this portal being opened, we also learn that on December 21st, the Pope actually got sick and skipped out on doing his Sunday prayers before, of course, continuing on with the Jubilee 25th year ritual. Now, when it comes to understanding what's really going on here, I think it's all left for people's religious interpretations. As we also have to remember that this is the same Pope that literally partnered up with Lynn Forrester de Rothschilds all the way back in 2021 and even earlier before that with a way to, quote, create inclusive capitalism, as a lot of the DEI woke efforts have been cheerleaded, promoted, propagated, and created and invented by this larger partnership of the Pope, the Rothschilds, and major other financial institutions that created a new form of, quote, inclusive capitalism that really was just there to discriminate against people that were white and born with male genitalia. As a lot of people are reporting how this Pope is a left-wing fever dream for a lot of radicals, as this is the same guy that literally doubled down on more immigrants being sent to Western nations, which essentially is replacing the local populations that have to pay for it with their tax dollars that no longer could afford to have children, as the state in Western countries is literally incentivizing the people that are replacing them to do that. As the replacement levels are going down in many Western parts of the world, but according to the Pope, we need more immigrants. We need to dilute the cost of labor that much more. We need to increase the cost of housing that much more, as the immigration policies that have been used and abused, specifically by many European governments and democratic politicians from the United States, clearly served a purpose that created a very unfair situation, not just to the local populations of those places, but of course, more importantly, the immigrants themselves that were used as cheap labor. As Pope Francis also came out and said that it is a great sin to be, quote, too masculine. As he literally said, he wants to demasculize the church because there are too many male theologians. As this is the same Pope that also pushed for the legalization of gay marriage. He pushed for the climate change narrative. He supported the lockdowns during 2020 and 2021. He fired people for not taking a rushed experimental procedure, as he is one of the biggest advocates for the UN Agenda's 2030 Sustainable Development Goals that essentially rob people of their life, liberty, and any kind of financial prospects that they would ever have. As this is a Pope of the World Economic Forum and other globalist organizations that are literally here running an agenda against native-born populations, waging a larger cultural, economic, and political war against them. As the Pope is also getting involved in Middle Eastern politics, which didn't really make the Israelis happy. But when you look at a lot of these efforts that he's a part of, that he's propagating, that he's pushing, the overall goal of it is destabilizing the West and creating larger programs and initiatives that absolutely destroy it from within. As this alliance between the Rothschilds and the Vatican is something that a lot of people deserve to know about, but sadly, they don't. As this is not the first time that the Catholic Church has been involved in a lot of very serious controversies, as it's important to note here that the Pope now will have larger challenges to his leftist radical political ideas, as it definitely does look like there's a populist kind of America first, Western chauvinistic kind of ideology rising up to the surface that was perfectly represented by Trump's victory, which was a mandate for radical change. As he not only won the electoral vote, he won the popular vote, he won the cultural vote, he won the hearts and minds of the people by going up against the grain and a lot of these woke policies that the Pope propagated himself. As now, A similar situation is now unfolding in Germany, where Elon Musk just recently supported a right-wing political party that, according to a lot of people, will be deciding Europe's future. As if a right-wing government takes over Germany, which a lot of people are expecting. This is why the German president now is literally calling Twitter a threat to democracy, as of course it was Twitter that allowed Donald Trump to become the next president of the United States. Could Twitter now allow the next president of Germany to also become a right-wing populist figure, rebuking a lot of these liberal UN World Economic Foreign policies? Well, time will only tell, as personally, opening up this fifth portal door might not be as conspiratorial as you thought it could be, but it still highlights a larger conversation that I think we need to have. And if you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. And more importantly, don't forget to take your health into your own hands. And that's why we created wearechange.shop, our own store where you can get a lot of really incredible products. Make sure to get your calendar before 2025, as we have a lot of really awesome supplements available for you guys that are really good for you, that I personally take, that I personally like, that you can only exclusively get on wearechange.shop. This common sense creatine, one of the best products out there on the market. I've done a ton of research. I spoke to the best experts in this particular field, and just check it out. Go to wearechange.shop, and when you click on a specific product, let's click on the creatine one. We have a number of videos that you guys could play that will inform you about the larger kind of benefits and risks of these products that you should probably consider taking in this larger kind of health information eugenics, the population war and agenda that's out there right now, that if you're not aware of, you're probably already a victim of. Take care of your health right now. Grasp it within your own hands. Go to wearechange.shop. Get yourself a supplement. Get yourself a sign. Get yourself a hat. We got a lot of really cool, awesome things only available on wearechange.shop that goes towards supporting this independent media venture that has been around for over 20 plus years. We want to be around for a lot longer. We can only do that with your direct support and participation. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys directly supporting me, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. Happy New Year, and let's start it off with a bang. Lots of really incredible things happening here. Stay tuned for more.